So in this video, I'll be taking you through most of the Star Wars LEGO sets retiring in 2023. Now, I will quickly say at the start, before we get into it, if there is some of these sets that you're after, that you're in love with, or you know that you need to buy for somebody for Christmas or indeed for yourself, do not wait until December 31st when they do retire. Do not wait until December when they retire. If it is financially feasible for you to do so, grab hold of them before November, December, as we've seen in the past. Once they go out of stock at that sort of time period for Christmas, we don't really see them jump back onto the shelves. And with that said, let's jump into it. Starting with the Mandalorian and the 75292 Razor Crest. Now, I think this is a really beautiful set. Some cool minifigs. I do wish we got the Quill minifig. You do get it in the UCS set. But I do think for the price point, it's about £120 in the UK as opposed to the 500 or so for the UCS Razor Crest, which isn't retiring. I should just make that clear. One set that is finally retiring is the Din Djarin and Grogu Brickheads. Now, this was set to retire last December but got extended. It's been on the shelves for a number of years now, so I'm not surprised that it is finally retiring. 75318, also known as the Child, retails for about £80 in the UK and is retiring. We've had it for a number of years now, and I do think this will be a good investment piece if you're an investor or a reseller or anything like that. My theory being, whilst this set is retiring, this little guy isn't going anywhere. He's absolutely everywhere. You only have to go into a shop to know he's on pens, he's on pajamas, he's on pancake makers. I don't think that this little guy is going anywhere anytime soon. I think it'd make a really good investment piece. Last piece in the Mando set, and yes, I'm counting it, is the 75312 Boba Fett Starship or Fire Spray or Slave One. This set retails for about £45 in the UK, but it's been about as low as £30 with certain retailers over the course of this year. One thing I would like to see with this retiring next year is actually for them to remake Jango Fett's Slave One. I imagine they'll end up calling it Jango Fett's Starfighter or Jango Fett's Fire Spray, but I would really like to see them remake it. I know I might be dreaming a little bit there, but it would be a really nice touch to see that brought back. Next up in the retirement list is some more brickheads, and we've got Ahsoka Tano's brickhead. I've done a video on this previously, showing the build off of this for the excitement for the Ahsoka premiere. This set is almost impossible to see on LEGO shelves now. Last time I was in there, I couldn't see any of these, and it's not surprising. At the time of recording, it's the 4th episode just gone of Ahsoka. It's brilliant. And I imagine if you do see these on the shelves, do try and grab hold of them at retail price. Another brickhead set that is retiring at the end of 2023 is the 40623 Battle of Endor Heroes set. Now, I'm not a huge brickheads fan, but I do think this is worth picking up purely because you get 5 characters, most of which we probably won't see again. Now, if I had to make a prediction, I would say that we'll probably end up seeing R2-D2 at some point, probably paired up with C-3PO in the dual packs. That's quite a nostalgic pack to get, but I would recommend trying to get hold of this. And that brings us on to a pair of ships that are retiring at the same time. That's the 75300 TIE Fighter and the 75301 X-Wing. It's a shame that we're losing these off the shelf, but if I had to make a prediction, I would say that at some point we'll probably end up with some variation of these back on the shelf in a few years' time. The same, I think, can't be said for the UCS Republic gunship, particularly with the new Coruscant Guard gunship coming out and with the Venator just around the corner. I'll be surprised if we do see a Republic gunship in UCS form for some time. Next up on the retirement list, and we will start with some Hoth sets, is the 75288 8080. Now, I actually really like this set. I think it's a really good price point, particularly against the UCS 8080. Now, obviously, you don't get the same sort of features on the inside. You can't pack it out with snowtroopers, but I think price-wise, it's a really good alternative, particularly for younger fans. We can't all afford to spend £750 on an 8080. Next to go is the Snowtrooper Battle Pack. No great surprise that this one is retiring, particularly with us getting some more battle packs at the start of 2024. 75322 AT-ST is also going with it, but there is good news for LEGO fans in America. They are apparently doing a 2-in-1 pack of these two sets together in the run-up to Christmas, and it's speculated to be slightly cheaper than the two individually. One set that I will need to pick up is the Justifier. I love the Bad Batch and I love Cad Bane. This set I think is really cool. I do think the Omega figure, said it like she would say it, is probably going to go up in value sort of the longer that it's been retired. Next up is 75324, which is Luke versus the Dark Troopers. Not quite sure, I wouldn't say this is a diorama and I wouldn't say it's a battle pack either. It's kind of somewhere in between, but that's retiring at the end of this year. Also retiring is Boba Fett's Throne Room as well. This set sort of came under a little bit of criticism when it was released, and it was sort of expected to be shelved at the end of last year, but I think they've just kept it on because of the amount of figures in there, and they're looking to probably make some money back on it. I think it's a pretty good set, and I think with the amount of figures that you do get, and some of those figures are quite rare, you'll probably end up seeing a good resale value on the figures alone over the course of time. Couple of helmets retiring as well, Luke Skywalker's Red 5 and the Dark Trooper as well. And that brings us on nicely to the diorama sets that are retiring. Jedi Training on Dagobah, which is actually my favourite one, as well as the Death Star Trench Run. Next up is 75333, which is Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. Now, we did get this a couple of years ago, and the resale on it since then has gone through the roof, and I imagine the resale of this will be a decent price to invest in as well. I do like the fact that in this one we did get the Kaminoan as well. Sticking with Obi-Wan, we have 75334, which was the dual scene between Vader and Obi-Wan from the Obi-Wan show. Now, I didn't actually love this scene in the show, nor did I purchase the set. Just wasn't a big fan of what Deborah Chow and Joby Harold did with the show. That being said, I absolutely loved having Ewan and Hayden back, which brings us nicely on to the next Obi-Wan set, which is 75336, the Inquisitor Transport. This has a very Knights of Ren, Kylo Ren kind of feel to it, and I do actually think this will do quite well in the long run of a resale. Next we have the 4+80 set. Now, traditionally the 4+ sets do usually get quite a rough ride and a little bit of a mick take, but I do actually think that this one will go down in price or in sale before Christmas. 75338 is the last Andor set on the shelves, and it is retiring on December 31st. It goes for about £60 to £65. 75335 is BD1. Now, this is a great one for fans of Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor, or indeed if you just collect the UCS R2D2 or BB-8. It's a good one for droid collectors as well. 75342, the Republic Fighter Tank, a real fan's favourite and certainly one of my favourites as well. About £40 at the moment in the UK if you can get your hands on it. Some cool figures and mace in there as well. And the final set retiring in 2023 is fairly self-explanatory. It is, of course, the Advent Calendar, which retires every year. Very excited for this one this year, particularly for the Christmas jumper Palpatine. If you did like this video, drop it a like and leave a comment of the sets that you're looking to pick up before they all retire.